What's up guys, Coach Sean here, back again with another video. So today's topic of discussion is going to be fat loss. So let's talk about the difference between fat and muscle. 1 pound of fat, if we're thinking in terms of calories, okay, because again, the body, when it comes to the calories, is our main source of energy, right? It's exactly what calories is. If we are trying to put on a pound of fat, it's going to take us to eat in excess of 3,500 calories, okay? For a pound of muscle, it's also going to take 3,500 calories to achieve this, okay? So what is the difference between the two? It's going to be weight training, okay? Weight training provides the stimulus that we need to break down the muscle, and then as long as we eat in excess of 3,500 calories, your body will turn that excess of energy into muscle instead of fat. Now, for the second part I want to talk about is how to lose weight, okay? And again, it's not really weight that we're trying to lose. More importantly, it's fat, right? Because muscle's going to help you make you look a lot more shredded, okay, versus fat. So we want to lose fat and get rid of it instead of having our body store it. It's just extra energy that your body doesn't need and it's holding on to. The reason why your body's holding on to it is when you think back to our ancestors living in caves, not knowing when our next meal or food was going to be. It's been passed down through our genetics that this is what happens. When we go into, which is the first thing that we need to lose weight, when we go into a calorie deficit, which means less calories, so you're taking in less calories each day. When we go into this calorie deficit, what our body does, and it's so smart, is it actually will begin to decrease the amount of energy that we expend, okay? So it's going to make you a lot more tired, make you not want to move, you're going to sweat less, and the tiredness is going to increase because we're in this calorie deficit. So you may, in the beginning of this process, actually see an increase in weight because, again, your body goes into starvation mode, and when it realizes that it's starting to lose calories again, what it does is it starts to take in as much as it can. So it's trying to hold on to the energy for as long as it can. Therefore, it's going to make it harder to actually lose the weight or lose the fat. But over time and with consistency, eventually the scale will tip. So if we have a scale of calories in and calories out, eventually, because we're taking less calories in and we're expending more with our exercise or movement or whatever it is, eventually over time that scale is going to tip and we will eventually start to see a weight loss. To get into a calorie deficit, we need to remember the following. So again, 3,500 kcal is equal to 1 pound of fat, okay? If we want to lose a pound of fat, we need to remove 3,500 calories from our diet. Now, it's not effective to just not eat, okay? It's not effective to just limit the amount of calories. We still need to get enough in so that our body doesn't go into a freak mode and that we're able to function properly, go to work, go and do exercise, go and enjoy our life. So if we divide this over 7 days, a week, it just means that you need to remove you need to be in a deficit of 500 calories per day, okay? So a lot more achievable in this sense. So again, if we do that, eventually we should lose a pound of fat. So how to find out what it is your daily intake needs to be in order to lose weight. First, we need to find our maintenance caloric intake. So this is basically what your body needs each and every single day to stay at the weight that you're currently at. How you get it is this. You get your body weight, okay, so BW, you're going to times it by 15. Now your body weight needs to be in pounds. So what we need to do is we need to take our weight in kilograms. Okay, so for this example, it would be 80 kg We're going to multiply it by 2.2 because that's the conversion between kilograms and pounds. And that'll spit out exactly what your weight is in pounds. So 80 times 2.2 is going to be 176 pounds. Okay, so if I take this number, I pump it into the formula, so I got 176 pounds, and I'm multiplying by that 15. The maintenance calories for this is going to be 2,640 kcal per day. So if I want to stay at 80 kilograms or 176 pounds, I need to have 2,640 calories per day. So that's your maintenance again, and in this case we're focusing on losing weight, so we need to take that 2,600 kcal, and like I said, if our goal is we're looking to lose 1 pound of fat, well, like I said, 1 pound of fat, 3,500 calories over 7 days. It's just a minus or deficit of 500 calories per day. So we have our maintenance calories. We're going to minus that from 500 kcal per day. And what we're left with then is 2,140 kcal per day. If I do that, and I stick at this, well, I'm going to lose 1 pound of fat per week. Okay, so as long as I stick to this amount of calories per day in my diet, I'm going to lose 1 pound of fat per week. Now, you could say, well, why lose 1 when you can lose 2? Okay, so all it would be then is, this is 1,000. And this is 1,640. So weight loss or fat loss, it's consistency. Okay, it's the same with muscle gain. It's the same with anything when it comes to whether you're trying to go up in weight or down in weight. It's consistency, but you can't go jumping straight into this. If you go jumping straight into this, eventually you're not going to be able to cope. You're going to be too tired all the time, and the cravings are going to kick in, and you'll eventually go back to binge eating, and you'll put on the calories. Okay. But based on the formula, it should be able to work. So first thing was calorie deficit. The next thing is workouts. Okay, so I'm sure you'll see all online about fat burning workouts, especially when it comes to the Stairmaster, treadmill, elliptical, whatever exercise, cardio machine, running. It doesn't really matter, okay? But you can lose weight through the workout. So again, this is going to be the number 1. So for anyone out there who's just looking to lose a bit of weight, you can do it technically with a calorie deficit. Now, if you increase your daily activity, so your TDE, which is your total daily energy expenditure, if you were to increase that just by, say, cleaning your house more, you're walking, moving more over the course of your day, it's going to help with getting the increase of calories out, so energy used, which again can help tip the scale. But we can do it then with our workouts, okay? What I'm going to take is a treadmill, okay? So we're going to use a treadmill. It doesn't have to be a treadmill, but just for this example, it's going to be, okay? We need to be exercising at a certain percentage of our heart rate max, okay? And the 2 ways in which you can get that is by going to a lab and getting something that's called a VO2 max done. Okay, it's a test that you can do on the treadmill. The second thing that we can do is we can work at a percentage of our heart rate max. Okay, so our heart rate max is basically the max amount of beats that your heart will pump. Okay, research has actually found that at 54.2% of our VO2 max is our max fat oxidation. So oxidation just means the use of, okay, the I suppose the burning of fat, okay? So if we were to get this at our VO2 max, this is what it would be. But again, like I said, for the example, we're going to focus only on a percentage of our heart rate max. To be at about 60 to 80% of your heart rate max. Okay, that's brilliant, right? We know exactly the percentage. Now, let's go into the formula in which it's going to be specific to you, okay? Because again, all this stuff, the calorie deficit, the workouts, everything has to be specific to you. What I do with my personal weight and my workouts and my age is all going to be completely different to what it is for you. So I'm going to take myself, for example. So I'm 26 years old. I need to find out what is my heart rate max. If I'm not doing a VO2 max, well then I need to do this method in order to get a prediction of what that is. So I'm 26 years old. You're going to get something that's called an age predicted heart rate max. Okay, this is what we use when it comes to exercise training to predict what someone's heart rate is when it comes to the testing and the protocols. Okay, how you do it is you're going to take 220 and you're going to minus your age, and that's going to give you your max heart rate. Okay, the max amount of beats per minute that your heart can do. So 220 minus my age, 26, is going to be 194 beats per minute. Now, for athletes, and I've actually have had it tested before, and I was actually up around 200 beats per minute. So it's not entirely accurate, especially if you're an athlete, you're kind of in that outlier phase. But for the most general public and general population, it's going to be about 194 beats per minute. We have our age predicted heart rate, which is 194 beats per minute is my, like I said, heart rate max. We need to get at 60 to 80%. So we'll take our 194, we're going to times it by 0.6, and then we're going to go 194 times 0.8, and they'll spit out the zones in which we need to be at. So at a heart rate zone between 155 and 116 beats per minute. So again, this is only tailored to me. So my age is 26, my heart rate max is 194 beats per minute. In order for me to use fat as energy for my treadmill workout, I need to stay in a heart rate zone of 116 to 155 beats per minute during my workouts in order to utilize the most amount of fat. Now, if we take this chart and we look at all the methods which I explained earlier, I'm going to show you why it's important to use the last one versus the first two. If we took, this is just our workouts, okay? So let's say we go to the gym and we're not changing anything about our diet, we're not doing strength training, all we're doing is getting on the treadmill and we're working at that 60 to 80% of our heart rate max, okay? Well, I'll tell you why it's not effective. Yes, you will be utilizing more fat as energy during that workout. However, again, it comes to the scale. If the scale for in and out is not imbalanced, if out is not more than in, well, you're not going to lose weight, okay? Yes, you may be utilizing fat as energy, but you actually may be gaining weight because you haven't been tracking your calories. Now, if we were to do both, okay, so we did the workout, plus we did a calorie deficit, so we focused on our nutrition, okay, we got our maintenance, we minus the 500 off it, and we worked out in that 60 to 80% heart rate max percentage. Well, yes, it's going to be a lot more effective because, and you will lose weight from this method, okay, because you're in that calorie deficit. Out is going to be more than in, therefore we're going to lose fat. But the best one out of all is the last two, but you're adding in strength training. So again, if we go back to the start of this video, the difference between fat and muscle is the weight training. If we add in strength or weightlifting, well, now you're going to be turning the energy that you do have into building muscle, okay? And if we look at what muscle can do for you, here's the following benefits for muscle. Muscle is good for the following reasons. When we exercise with more muscle, okay, you're going to increase the amount of energy required to move all that muscle, whether it's walking, whether it's lifting weights, or whatever it is you're doing. Muscle takes up a lot of energy, okay? So our energy expenditure is going to go up, okay? So the energy required is going to go up, therefore our energy expenditure is going to go up, and because our energy expenditure is going up, we're going to be using a lot more calories, and therefore we're going to increase the out. And then, like I said, it always comes back to the scale. If out is going up and in is going down, we're losing weight, okay? And again, if we do the nutrition side with a calorie deficit, we do fat oxidation workout with the 60 to 80% of your heart rate max. If we do them, plus we're doing strength training, which again, strength training is building muscle. Strength training is also energy expending. It's using up calories while we're working out. Therefore, your out's going to increase overall, and therefore we're going to lose fat. So doing them three together are going to be the most effective ways for you to lose weight. So real quick before we move on to the last part, I want to talk about the nutrition side and what it is that you need to include in your diet each and every single day in order to, again, achieve that fat loss. So the first thing, as we mentioned already, it's a caloric deficit, okay? But the important part of this is that you have to track it. Okay? You can use MyFitnessPal, you can use Cal.ai, you can use any of these apps out there that are going to help you track your calories, okay? The second most important thing is going to be your protein intake. Increasing your protein in your diet is going to be great for the following. It's going to increase energy expenditure, okay, and this is going to come down to your diet-induced thermogenesis, your DIT. If you look at thermogenesis, the genesis is creation of, thermo is going to be heat, so it's energy expenditure. The second part is satiety, so how full you are, okay, it's going to make you feel full for longer. And the last thing that it's going to do, it's going to help increase your fat-free mass, which is just basically muscle. Especially if you're doing the weightlifting, which is going to promote the stimulus for muscle growth. Now, when it comes to protein and the amount that you need to have each and every single day, it's mixed all over the shop online. 0.82 grams per pound of body weight to, and this is old school, and this is kind of what I stick to, is 1 gram per pound of body weight, okay? So again, if I'm 176, I need to be at about 144 grams of protein per day. If you're in kilograms, it's going to be a little bit more, so it's going to be 1.8 grams per kg of body weight to about 2.2 grams per kilogram. So if I'm at 80 kilos, I need to be aiming for 144 to 176 grams of protein per day. You do that, it's going to help maintain your muscle while you're in that caloric deficit. Now, we're finally at the last part in terms of how you can keep the weight, the fat off you. First thing is the caloric deficit. The second thing is make sure you're eating protein. Like I said, the benefits of that, energy expenditure, you're going to feel fuller for longer, and it's going to help increase fat-free mass, i.e. your muscle, if you pair it with the weight training. And lastly, like I just mentioned there. If you do weight training, cardio, but mainly you just exercise or you just move more. These three altogether are going to help increase the amount of energy you use. It's going to help build muscle, help increase energy use, decrease the amount of energy you're taking in. All these three together, if you develop the habit, you develop this consistency over time, you're going to keep the weight off you then for good. Now, if you're looking for help when it comes to exercise, no need to worry. We do have them services available. If you head on over to my Instagram page at 20_performance, click the form in my bio, fill out whether it's online coaching, personalized training programs, or in-person PT or group training. So if you're looking to get involved, you know what to do. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.